here, I got a gun here.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? He said he was going to throw a little punch and get people off of him, then he was going to pull the gun from the bag.
Right. I pulled a gun and had to shoot
You know what I'm
two
saying?
warning
I
shots.
might have to shoot 2 warning shots just to get him up off me. Like, so that, it was a little, I made it like a little TikTok thing. It was like a little TikTok challenge. This one boy was in my DM though. He was like,
oh, he was in your DM?
He was in my DM. He was like, I know he can't curse, he's a little bit.
Right.
And he go on there and he said some fly, stuff in the comments. And I just commented like T-U-H, like tuh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know better. You know
right.
He came back and was like, bro, I apologize. It was just a joke. I just left it on red. Like, bro, y'all know me. Don't play with me like that. And that's the only reason why, you know what I'm saying, I was a little pissed off when I did that after a while.
But mad people was definitely defending it like, nah, cuz ain't sweet, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't that.
You go viral doing a TikTok when they start playing with you, huh?
Yeah, I like that.
More than that, more than that.
Join the More Than a Dad family by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to join our Facebook group for daily questions, motivation, dad jokes, and new dad tips. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be sure to like, comment, and share our content with other parents. Last but not least, make sure you check out our new merch. The link is in the bio of our Instagram as well as the description of this YouTube video. We are truly grateful, and thanks for supporting More Than a Dad. Welcome to More Than a Dad podcast. I'm your host, Lou Mobley. I'm joined by the coolest guy on earth, Dre Moore.
What's up, y'all?
And we got a very, very, very special guest, somebody that's so active in the community, holding down West Philly at all time, representing them Speed Boys, Cheney Wolves.
See you.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all? We got Dit in the building. What's up, baby?
What's good? What's good, y'all? What's the deal?
No, man, we always start off asking, how's dad life?
Man, I'm a dad. I've been a dad. My daughter's 11. 11 years it's been an uphill battle, bro, but it's been a blessing in disguise at the end of the day. You feel me? It's like all the lessons is life learned lessons, and it comes from being a parent. The failures, the success, the things that you do right, the things you do wrong, it's all a learning process.
Right.
So I just take every day as a learning process, and being a parent is like going to school all over again.
That's deep. That's deep. I was just thinking, you said she's 11?
My daughter's 11.
So what was the beginning of that process like when you became a parent 11 years ago versus now?
It's definitely easier. You know what I'm saying? Because all the stuff you learn from the beginning, I mean, the only thing that changes about parenting is the people you have kids with. So bringing a child up is the same for me. So the same way I raised her is the same way I raised my other 2 sons, my biological boys. So she kind of set the tone for me, you know what I mean? And she set the tone of how I should be a parent and how I'm going to conduct myself as a parent. So it was pretty much easy. But she set the tone. We struggled a lot, me and her.
Right.
So she's seen a lot of the struggles I've been through. She felt it with me. A lot of the stuff, financial problems, the relationship problems, the baby mama drama, she was there with me. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to not have the other kids feel that. So she's like my, you know what I'm saying? She's my little rock, you know what I'm saying? Because she felt a lot of that stuff with me. And I think that's the reason why she's so mature as well, because as I've grown, she's grown with me.
Right.
As far as the business and working in the community and everything I do, I kind of got her with me. So she's like building herself to do the same thing almost. So
it's interesting. One of the things I'm working on in my marriage is like making sure we don't fight in front of the kids, right? And it ain't always easy, tempers flare and everything. But in your experience, you just talked about some of the struggles. Have you ever felt like anything really affected her that she's seen, whether, like you said, you had financial problems or you having problems with mom? Do you feel like anything ever like, you were like, damn, that's a cause and effect right there?
Oh, for sure. My baby's like, Moochie is her name. She's like she's so calm and subtle. And when she get worked up, she only get worked up every time me and her mom argue. When she sees that, when she see it, she get an attitude. She get a little flaring attitude. We're not gonna be like, you know what, damn it, we got to chill a little bit because it's bothering her. She don't like the loud noise. She don't like the arguing. She don't like the back and forth. And now, it's kind of she's at this age now where me and her mom is split. We've been split for 11 years. She's kind of like stuck in between of where do I want to go now, because she spends time between both houses.
Right.
But I think she's getting older now. She's like, I want to stay here more, but I don't want to hurt this person's feelings.
Okay.
So she's like in that aspect of it now. So.
No, so I wanted to ask you. I seen you post something on your Instagram not that long ago about like having guys around your kids, and like you had a pretty firm stance in that.
Yeah,
so I just wanted for you to speak to that. How do you feel about mom's new friend or boyfriend being around your kids?
I've never been that guy where I want to meet the man that's going to be around my kids. Don't have no around my kids. Oh, excuse me. I don't have no N-words or dudes around my kids. You know what I'm saying? I've never been that boy because I've seen dudes do that and they were bitter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I didn't want to be that bitter baby dad. And I'm not saying that dudes that do that is bitter, but it doesn't make sense to me to do that because of the relationship I have with my children. I don't worry about nothing else nobody else got going on. Me and my kids talk about everything under the sun. I ask them questions. They're honest with me. I don't have a problem with them hiding stuff or lying. So if there was an issue with one of their step-parents or one of their mother's boyfriends, they wouldn't think twice about getting me on the phone because they both got cell phones and tablets. They wouldn't think twice about getting me on the phone and say, look, I feel some type of way. Or he did this, or he hit me, or he did this, or he said this to me in front of my mom, or, something like that. So I never really was like that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if a person is going to harm your children, they're not going to tell you to your face they're going to harm them. They're going to be nice and happy and go lucky when you meet them and shake your hand, all hands and teeth, what Quilly say, right? And then when they behind closed doors, yeah, teeth and palms, because they're not going to do it in front of your face. So me requiring to meet them and me telling people don't have nobody around my kids is not going to change anything. So I don't.
But you don't want to make your presence felt?
Oh, my presence is felt by how active I am in my kids' life. I ain't got to walk in your house to be cool with you.
Also, you like 6'5" and
yeah, but
3 bills.
But you know what I'm saying? That's just. But my size, Lou. My size is only my stature.
Right.
It's not my attitude.
Right. Yeah, it's not his presence. So.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I was always had to make myself smaller in stature to maneuver through people. You know what I'm saying? I was 6'3" in 8th grade. I couldn't go to a dollar parties. There's people, moms used to be like, hey, you ain't coming in here. You can't get in here. Well, I'm only 14. You lying. Show me your ID. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I make my presence by being involved in my kids' life and having them just as much as they is over there. So and I haven't, knock on wood, had any problems with my baby moms or children's mothers, other halves. Nothing has ever happened.
True. Nah, I just was saying it because, like men respect men.
Yeah.
So, it's just making your presence felt you making your presence felt in a different way. Yeah. It's just without, actually, meeting a person and just laying some groundwork.
Yeah.
More so, they just know you active and you involved. So, if something was to ever go left, then it's a person on the other end of that you got to answer to.
Yeah.
Which I understand that concept.
Yeah, and I've had my kids, my daughter's, mother's significant other. He called me like, yo, your daughter is kind of being out of pocket, bro. She's being a little disrespectful. And I get on her. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't say much. He just said, yeah, I know how you parent and I know how involved you are. I just wanted to call you and let you know. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, I'm not saying I don't want to meet them and, introduce myself. We introduce ourselves. We shake hands, we talk. But it's not. I didn't make that a requirement. You better not. Or I need to meet him here and before you have him around. I'm not that type of guy.
No.
I mean, they're gonna do what they want to do anyway.
They're gonna do it anyway.
You know what I'm saying? It don't really.
And
matter.
honestly, my when my kids, mom, because I got I'm a rolling stone, I'm a THOT. I'm a thought. I got 3 baby moms. The two, they kind of left me alone when they got in relationships.
Yeah, that happened.
There was a whole lot of bickering. Oh, you gotta. I need you to. Can you? It wasn't a whole. When they got in relationships, all that stopped. All that stopped. A lot of the bickering back and forth, the small arguments, the small disagreements, the stupid stuff really stopped.
Because y'all could just focus on co-parenting.
That's it.
And she got somebody else to argue with.
Exactly.
It's a fact.
Now, I want to talk a little bit, about how you became a foster parent.
So, my main background is working in mental health. I specialize in working with children who experienced extreme mental health crisis. So the worst of the worst is who I always was dealing with. And then I start, traveling around, moving to different facilities and stuff, and working with them children. I worked on this pod called A-Pod in Fairmount. I worked in Fairmount, which is up in Germany, Roxborough. And I was kind of taken back because the first place I worked at, I was working with juvenile sexual offenders. So they was young kids, but they was adjudicated youth for serious sexual crimes, like very serious and heinous sexual crimes. So I was working there. They shut that down. I went to work at Fairmount. So that was a kind of a culture shock for me too, because this was like my first like inpatient hospital, like a psych hospital, right, like a mental ward. And I walked on this pod and I seen this little baby with a big gown on. The gown was too big, and the socks was on, the hospital socks. And they walked past and was just like, I want to go home. And I'm just like, well, damn, like, who is that baby? And they like, oh, that's our A-Potters. You know what I'm saying? That's our 4 to 7 year olds. I said, in a psych hospital? Well, what could a 4-year-old possibly do to get put in a locked facility? You feel me? So I start looking. I start going through charts. I start reading up on kids' histories, and I figured it out. Like, it's not them. It's their parenting. It's how they were raised. It's what the environment they were in. It's not the kid. You know what I'm saying? So I worked so forth and so on after a couple of years, and I said, you know what? I seen so many kids make better strides to get themselves better, to go back home. Took their medicine, complied, went to group and all that stuff. It was time for them to go home. Parents don't show up. Time for her to go home. Foster parents don't come. Don't have no foster care. So they got to go to a group home, or they discharge, get changed, and they got to stay in the hospital longer, and they completely crumble, fight, get put in restraints, get medicine, because their whole setup was just diminished in like 10 seconds. Like, you're not going home anymore. We don't have nowhere for you to go. You got to stay here for another month. So I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I went and filled out the paperwork to take some of these kids in to try to do it. And I sat on it for like a year. I was a foster parent for a year and didn't foster any kids. And then one day my phone rang from the foster care agency. They was calling me too. Hey, we got a kid for you. We got a kid that we need. Nah, it's not ready. Nah. And one day this kid, I was laying on my couch on my birthday and watching TV, and they called and was like, we got a kid that needs respite. Respite care is like emergency placement, but only for like a week or two.
Right.
It's only like temporary till they find him a permanent home. And I said, sure, send him over. I'll take him. I ain't doing nothing. I took off. I wasn't going nowhere. I wasn't really celebrating my birthday. This kid come, and he was just quiet. So the first 20 minutes, I'm sitting there, we watching, what was on? It was Ghostbusters. We was watching the old Ghostbusters on my TV. I got it on Netflix. And he just sitting there. He didn't say nothing the first 20 minutes, and then something funny happened. He smirked. He did like this. He looked over like, this movie funny, ain't it? And I was like, yeah, it is funny. Why you here? Like,
you ain't just asking why you here.
How old was the kid?
He was like 8.
He was like 8.
I asked him, like, yo, what are you doing here? And he was just like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
Hold up, guys. So y'all sat in this crib for 20 minutes in silence.
In silence.
Nothing.
Yeah,
He
came
laughed.
in, he had one bag, and it was, you know what I'm saying?
8-year-old kid.
8-year-old kid.
What you doing?
Yeah, what's up, bro? What are you doing here? Like, I think he about to tell me a story. You know, I got into a fight. My mom, you know, my foster mom, he didn't have nothing to say to me. He didn't know why he was there. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out, you know, his mom was having issues, and the DHS came and picked him up and all that stuff, took him away from his mom, but they did it in a less traumatic type of way. Mm-hmm. So he just thought, like, I don't know, you know.
So he just thought, like, I'm
going back home.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah, I'm chilling at this random man's crib. Yeah.
Like, what?
So I wound up keeping for like a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was my first foster son. And then I wound up a couple weeks.
Whoa, before we leave that. So you kept him for a year. Once he realized he wasn't going back, like,
oh yeah, I was about to get into it.
oh, you was about to
I was about to get into it.
Go ahead. I just didn't want you to gloss over that.
I wound up getting his brother the next couple weeks too.
Okay.
They was brothers. And these kids were, once they got comfortable and they found out that they wasn't going back home, they turned up. Bad. I was getting calls from work like, yo, please, Mr. Darren, come get him. Because we bonded and they respected me because they needed that male leadership.
Right.
A black man. You know what I'm saying? Their mother was going through stuff and they needed the man that they seen or the man that they was around was killing them softly by abuse and of their mother and their, you know, just not being what he was supposed to be. So they just needed that male sternness, you know what I'm saying? Right. So I had him on a whip because this is what I do. You know what I mean? This is what my passion is. So when it was time to tighten up, get over here. What are you doing? My fault, Mr. Darren. Tighten up. The same thing with, but over a while, a kid with untreated trauma is going to turn into a flaming ball, and there's nothing or no one that a human being can say to them that helps them out if they have a bunch of untreated trauma. So they experienced a lot as young kids, but they never had therapy. They never had medicine. They never had a stable home. So when they came to me, it was good for them, but in the same time, their world was crumbling down still because they didn't have their mom. They didn't have the other siblings. They didn't have, you know, the relationship with their mom, and also they just was in somebody else's home. So when they start realizing that the smallest thing sent these kids into a roid rage, like bad, punching holes in the walls, like wanting to die, you know what I'm saying? And it was the smallest stuff like, man, it's not your turn in the game no more, bro. Or it's time to go to bed. Or, no, you can't go outside right now. That stuff will send them into a uncontrolled rage moment for like a half an hour.
And what would you be doing?
I would talk to him. I would get stern with him. I couldn't, of course, I can't beat him or nothing like that because I don't even, you know, couldn't do nothing like that. So I had to turn to what I know best. And I start taking him to the crisis center to get evaluated. And when I took him to get evaluated, the doctor was just like, how did you have him for so long without bringing him here?
Because you work here, you're a professional.
Right. And because what happened was he did both of them. When I took them, the first 10 minutes inside of there, while they're getting evaluated, they start attacking other kids while they're inside of there. So it was like, man, so they was in and out. They was with me for a year, but they was in and out of those things, just trying to get their medicine, to get the medicine in the right levels, get their therapy, the right levels, their treatment, get their treatment together. But in the meantime, I think over time they still needed what they got as far as the treatment and stuff. And it got to a point where they needed treatment so bad that DHS was just like, they both need higher levels of care. And I know you love him, Mr. Darren, but we got to take him. So, no, so that was that.
So they're not the same kids you have now?
No.
So the kids you have now, I think you are I think we spoke. You said you were in line to adopt.
Yeah, the adoption is due to be finalized in March.
And how long have you had them, and what's that relationship like?
I had for almost 2 years now, and then I got his brother, and I had him since July of last year. It was just the same way. I didn't have any kids for a while because I'm like, you know what? After this, I got attached to these kids. I felt like I failed them, in a sense. I'm not doing it no more. I ain't doing it. I'm cool. And they called me again, the same thing, like same kind of the scenario. Like, Mr. Darren, we got a kid. You know, he's not that bad. He don't need no medicine. He's just quiet. You know, his mom is in the process of getting her rights terminated, so he don't have any contact with bio parents, and he just needed somewhere to go because the other foster parent wasn't fit to take care of him. I said, all right, send him. Same thing I did to the other boy, send him. And this young boy came in, he come in, he's white and Puerto Rican. And he walked in, he stuttered, hi. You know what I'm saying? And
You probably scared him,
yeah,
bro.
so he just was quiet, man. He didn't, like, he was like mute.
Right.
You hungry? Want something to eat? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He wasn't talking for a while. But, you know, like I said, I got him in the same kind of situation. I got his brother. His other brother wasn't too far, which is 15 now. He'll be 16 in April. His foster mom, they was coming over and they start seeing each other. So we was letting them go over and he would come over to my house. And then his foster mom, her mom wound up passing away or getting sick or something like that. So she just said, Mr. Darren, I don't trust nobody else. Like, can his brother come live with you? And I said, I got enough room, sure. You know what I'm saying? So these kids, I just had them both. And I just, you know, culture shocked them because they never had their own room. They never had their own video game. They never had their own TV in their room. They never had a life to live like a normal child. They had to live a life of K&A because that's where they were from. Mm-hmm. So they was like outside and sleeping in hotels and just not being able to be kids. So I allowed them to be kids. You ain't got nothing to worry about, bro. You don't got to watch your brother. I got him. You don't got to walk to the market. You don't got to wash these clothes. You don't got to beg for food or do nothing like that. So it was like, they was like, damn. That's it? Like, yeah. So it was like, cool. So once the adoption came across, they terminated the parents' rights. So they couldn't see them. They, you know, the termination of rights means you don't have any rights to your children no more. So they terminated their rights. And then they was like, well, now we got to look for a new family. And I said, well, they home. They already home. So keep them here. So we started the adoption process, which was bad. I hated that process, bro. It's tough.
What do they put you through?
It's like this lady. She come in and they want to look through your house 4 or 5 times in a couple months, and they want to make sure that everything clean, make sure you got food in the refrigerator. That part was cool. I run a pretty tight ship around the house, but it was the personal questions. They sat down and asked you about your personal life, and within that personal life, that personal questions, that dialogue back and forth, I found out a lot about myself, like a lot. To the point where I was in tears talking to this lady, and she was, "Oh, it's okay."
She flipped it on you. She was,
why am I crying? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but you just hear. But it was like, it was just a lot of personal questions, a lot of stuff that they want to see in medical records. They want to make sure you ain't got no STDs. They want to know all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you.
They ain't run across no hammers when they was in the crib.
Sure did. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, one of the adoption workers follows me on Instagram, and as soon as she walked in, you know, my mom, she'd be like, you know, put them jaws away. You know what I'm saying? Right. But she walked in, and you know, people think that, you know, because it's in foster care or you can't have like firearms and all that stuff. You sure can. You just got to make sure you conceal safe and all that stuff. And adoption worker walked in, was like, me and my coworkers want to sign up for a gun training class. My mom was like, what the hell? Like, how? Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, they wasn't like out or nothing like that, but they know what I do. They know what I do.
No, you got something?
Yeah, I mean, since we already was there, Lou was telling me about, like, you was teaching one of your sons firearm safety.
Mm-hmm. So
you catch a lot of backlash with that?
I caught a lot. Especially my daughter, before I became an instructor, my daughter was 8 at the time. She was my first student at 8. And it was people, it was like 50-50. It was people like, this is amazing. It was people like, you tripping. Why are you teaching your baby this? Why are you teaching that girl that? And it was like a big back and forth on my page. And it had me like questioning myself, because that's what really catapulted my business of training and firearms ownership. I did catch some backlash, and it kind of had me be like, damn, am I really tripping? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I was like, nope. I'm going to take these punches, I'm going to roll with it, and I'm going to keep going. So now it went from that to what I am now, and I'm glad I didn't stop.
So just break it down for everybody what you do. So talk about how you started Born to Protect.
All right, so Born to Protect started 2019. I always was working in security in the city of Philadelphia, in and around the city of Philadelphia. Some like major contracts, was pretty known for doing security around in the city. And I met this dude, one of my mentors, Tom Dixon, and Shantae is the guy who one of my mentors, security too. But I met a dude, Tom Dixon, he's a Chester cop, and he was running these courses on Facebook. And he was talking about people being in security and not being trained properly and can't shoot, and he'd be downing these dudes, you know what I mean, like airing them out. So I said, you know what? I kind of fit in his lineup. I can't keep going, but I've been through a lot of stuff, like on the street-wise, as far as security-wise, like, you know, a lot of stuff. And I'm like, damn, I'm lucky enough that I was able to come out of that stuff alive. So let me go get some training. So I linked up with him, started training. He reached out back to me like, damn, bro, I think you should start, you know, becoming an instructor too. I like how you work. You can shoot, you can move. You're a big dude, you can talk. So I said, all right, cool, let's do it. And that's what started, like, kind of like Born to Protect. And then like the last 2 years, Born to Protect, I started, like I said, I just continued my training. And then I just mixed in all the accolades and everything else I had before with the mental health crisis intervention, what I specialize in. So now I've been teaching people how to realize when people are going through crisis, and I'm teaching people how to use firearms and about firearm safety. And that's what started Born to Protect, was just the educational piece of firearms and firearms ownership and understanding mental health and people in crisis and all that. Because what really got it going was when they killed, the police killed my man on Locust Street with a knife. Got his name.
Oh, Walter.
I know what you're talking about.
What's his name? Walter. Can't remember his last name.
Yeah. That's what started it. Like around that time, it took off from there. So
you have another stance. You do I think it's like first aid or something. Mm-hmm. And I think we live in an era, you always speak about it, is we live in an era of somebody gets shot or into a fight or stabbed, we all watch and pull out our phone. Mm-hmm. So like, just speak a little bit about, like, you know, why is it important to respond fast? So
the reason why, and this is not to get into too much logistics, if a lot of people die, of course from being shot, but it'd be from blood loss, traumatic blood loss, arterial blood loss. Hit a nickel artery, hit an artery or something like that. And is the fatality rate of after hitting the artery is pretty high regardless. But the reason why I always talk about people picking up their phones and stuff like that, because we don't know any better. We don't know no better. Well, what else are we supposed to do? Like if the only thing you know how to do is pick up a phone and use it, that's what you're going to do. So that's why I'm so big on getting the community trained in medical and first aid and treating arterial blood loss, because my stay is I want to create and build more by-doers instead of bystanders. You feel me? Because a lot of these people you get online and you see this guy twitching and bleeding, when if you do something simple as put a tourniquet on or plug the wound with some type of medical gauze, you just might save his life. But I can't be so mad at them because they don't know any better. Right. So this is why I do it. So now you not knowing is no longer an excuse. Ignorance can't be an excuse anymore. And if you know how to plug a gunshot wound, if you know how to put a tourniquet on, if you know how to put a chest seal, you just might, be less likely to pull out your phone than anything.
Right.
Joe, you got anything else? No, man. Oh. When I started More Than a Dad, you one of the people I thought of. Like,
it's a fact.
I say he do more than just biological kids, step kids,
Yeah.
foster kids. He adopting kids. He got a whole high school of kids. He a football coach. You so involved in community. I think you really you're a good role model for what we try to do here.
For sure.
Like what a man could really be, what a dad could really be. So I really want to thank you for coming and doing the show.
Appreciate y'all.
No, we got a little game for you.
We can't get out of here without playing our game.
We play this game called Documented Quality Time. It's kind of like a this or that. Like, what are you more likely to get caught doing?
Right.
Dre got some questions for you.
Yeah, I got the questions.
All right.
You're more likely to be taking them to football practice or taking them to the gun range?
Your kids.
I take them. They go to practice more than they come to the range with me.
All right, but you do take them to the range too.
Oh yeah, for sure they go too.
All right. You more likely to be teaching your kids how to pancake someone, how to clean the 40.
Pancaking.
They ain't cleaning the 40.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Are you more likely to be teaching your kids how to make a cheesesteak egg roll or playing cops and robbers with Nerf guns?
Oh, we definitely be nerfing around the crib. They ain't cooking it. Just stay out my kitchen. But we definitely can have it with the Nerf guns. I'm darting y'all.
You more likely to be showing them how to load a clip or doing a nutcracker drill?
They do football stuff more, so nutcracker.
Football stuff.
Yeah.
All right. All football, no guns.
No, he letting them be kids.
It's some. It's pretty mixed, but I would say on the athletic side, especially for my sons, it's more sports and stuff for them.
That's a fact. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
No, man, we want.
No, it's been real, man. I ain't gonna hold you. You had me like captivated in this job.
That's dope, bro.
Kind of took my words away.
Yeah, I kind of felt like we ended up learning a lot. I thought we was gonna really be chopping it up, but you were just speaking from.
Kind of gave us a dissertation.
He read.
But we appreciate it though. Nah, it was great information. It's a lot of stuff. I didn't even know they had small kids and psych wards and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do.
That's real.
All right, man. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you check out our online store. All the More Than a Dad merch is there. We catch y'all next time, man.
We appreciate it.
All right, y'all.
More than a dot, more than a dot.